What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another video. So I gotta talk about my Patriots. They made some news the other day. We went into this past season understanding that Robert Kraft was putting some pressure on Bill Belichick to turn the team around. They go 4-13. A lot of speculation whether Belichick would survive, whether he would go. We found out that they mutually stepped away, which if you saw the press conference, they definitely gave off the vibe that, yes, these two respected each other, loved the experience of being with each other, and they had reached a point where something new just had to be done. Kraft alluded to Belichick obviously going to coach somewhere else, so he didn't try to, you know, play it off like Seattle or Pete Carroll talking about going upstairs. No, Robert Kraft understood Belichick still wanted to coach. It was just that Robert Kraft, the owner, fan of the Patriots, understood that it had come to that time where a new voice was needed. Yes, Belichick is close to the wins record. Was he 12 wins away? I'm sure he would have loved to have done it in New England, but with the current state of the team and everything like that, wasn't going to happen probably. Some thought maybe Belichick stays if you take the GM role off of him. And Robert Kraft did mention, and I thought it was a good statement, that Belichick had had so much control all this time that to now bring in somebody else as his GM could create confusion, because let's say the GM picks a player that Bill doesn't necessarily like, and then Bill, doesn't play him or something like that. Then people start looking at the GM, and that can create issues. I thought it was a great answer. Makes perfect sense. Speculating about who was going to be the replacement, we found out Jerod Mayo. Even though we already knew this, because Robert Kraft has been saying this for a couple of years, that Jerod Mayo is a guy that he loves and knows can be a good head coach in this league. A lot of people thought that once Mike Vrabel, was dismissed in Tennessee, that he was going to be the obvious choice. Should have listened to Robert Kraft. He tried to tell you Jerod Mayo is going to be the guy. And they wasted no time, which I loved. I said in a previous video, Robert Kraft was not going to push this out for weeks on weeks to, delay the process. I think Kraft wants to get Mayo in place. To me, I feel like the GM is already in place. That might get announced maybe before the press conference or something like that, because Mayo's supposed to have his introductory press conference as head coach sometime this week. So yeah, like I'm saying, wouldn't be surprised if like the day before or something we hear so-and-so is the GM. Then at the press conference, you see both of them. It would start the new era of the New England Patriots, and what that looks like, I have no idea. We had gotten so used to Belichick with controlling every aspect. We got used to Belichick's press conferences, which, look, I'm one of those who wasn't, one of those who like hated the short answers and everything. It was who Belichick wanted to be in front of the media, because you heard from players all the time. Outside of that setting of Belichick in front of the media, he had a sense of humor, was a different person, and I respected that about him. So some are wondering why Jerod Mayo as well. And all you have to do is kind of see how some of the players are reacting. There's reports about players who are going to be free agents that weren't thinking about coming back, and the fact that Jerod Mayo was named, they're eager to come back. That's a win, because that defense, yes, they were 4-13, but you can't put it on the defense. The defense was really good. So I think the more continuity you can get on that side of the ball, the better the start for Jerod Mayo will be. Obviously, the question is going to be offensively. We got to see, who does Jerod Mayo bring in for a staff? Will any of the guys who were there this past year carry over? Like Bill O'Brien. Does Jerod Mayo want to use Bill O'Brien as offensive coordinator again? We'll have to see. Maybe Mayo has his own guy in mind. that's kind of the intriguing part to me is I want to see what kind of staff Mayo can put together. And if Belichick leaves, you have to assume Steven Belichick's gone, even though because Steven Belichick was like the co-defensive coordinator type of situation with Jerod Mayo. So you probably assume Steven goes wherever Bill goes. I don't know. That's going to be interesting to see also his defensive staff. But now it's a new era, like I said, where we have a coach, we're going to have a GM, different structure, so not the same guy making all the decisions. What does that mean for the draft? Patriots have the number 3 pick. Does this mean more of like a traditional kind of draft process where need a quarterback, top of the draft, take a quarterback? Is that what we get? Does that mean like if Caleb Williams and Drake May go 1 and 2, the Patriots are just going to take a quarterback at 3 because that's their biggest need? So that could mean, Patriots fans, I don't know how excited you would be for this. We could have the Heisman Trophy winner, Jaden Daniels, on this team next year. Could have the guy who was just in the Super Bowl. I mean, not the Super Bowl, the national championship game, Michael Penix. I don't know. It'll depend on who the GM and his people or her. Gotta be respectful. Like who they deem as the number 3 prospect in this draft. Now, another question I've seen: do the Patriots rush making this decision? Sure. You fire your coach one day, the very next day you hire his replacement. Normally does not go that way. It's usually a long, drawn-out process. What we learned, and I feel like this is something that I noticed probably last season or the season before. Well, last season I thought was the biggest clue. Mayo's name started coming up in coaching searches other places. He went and interviewed with the Eagles, I believe. Then there was the Carolina job. And it almost seemed like if Mayo went for that interview, he was probably going to get offered that job, which hindsight now, looking back at it, definitely a great decision on Jerod Mayo's part, not going to Carolina, because he got to deal with that Tepper dude. Good luck to him, getting a coach in this round of the coaching carousel. But Jerod Mayo pushed that job aside to re-sign with the Patriots on a multi-year deal. Then it was not too long after we heard, oh yeah, Bill Belichick secretly signed some new deal, which was reported to be 2 years. And it's like right there, I thought that was the final puzzle piece. Like, Kraft did all this to make Jerod Mayo stay. Belichick does a 2-year deal. Seemingly the 2 years, if he fixed the issues from the Matt Patricia debacle with Joe Judge, maybe in that 2-year stretch, he gets the coach's win record. Then you transition to Jerod Mayo. I feel like that was the plan going forward. The 4-13 season complicated it a lot. Because like I said, Kraft in the offseason made it known it needs to get better or changes will be made. So 4-13 happens. I think Kraft and Belichick were like, look, it was fun, but we got to with Jerod. I think Belichick was fine with that. I think I saw some report that it was in the extension with Belichick that Mayo would be the guy. I guess Belichick had kind of noticed that Jerod Mayo would be a good successor to him. Depending on if you believe that or not, I don't know. That's neither here nor there. But I'm just saying, Kraft has been tabbing Mayo for this moment for a while. And yes, the Mike Vrabel part of the equation probably complicated it for maybe a couple of minutes, but Kraft had his eyes set on Jerod Mayo, went with him. Yes, none of the interviews, which I saw some people were like, oh, how come they're just allowed to hire him without, I guess, the Rooney Rule, because you're supposed to hire a minority, or you're supposed to interview a minority candidate from outside of your organization before you can, make a decision on somebody internally. I believe that's the rule. I think it's the letter of the law, but I I think I also saw, like, because it was contractually put into Mayo's contract or something like that, it kind of circumvents the Rooney Rule. Which, one, okay, and two, if the Rooney Rule is for minority candidates, the Patriots are hiring a minority candidate. I'm completely fine with that. I don't need them to do what I think the Rooney Rule has become in some places, the dog and pony show, where you bring in a couple of minority candidates when you're never really going to hire any of them. And I think that's where a lot of people are kind of souring on the Rooney Rule. Even though I think face value, it has done some good, but some of these organizations are treating it like a, kind of a joke, which I think is an issue that I'm sure the league will probably look at, I don't know, at some point. But yes, Jerod Mayo becomes the first minority coach in New England. Not really saying that's like that's a big reason for it. I just think it's definitely significant, because the first to do anything is always something to celebrate. But I'm excited. As a Patriots fan, I want to see what a post-Belichick Patriots looks like. We went through this with post-Brady and how that changed the dynamic. So now we are post-Brady, post-Belichick. And like I said, I am intrigued to see who the GM is, how does the draft work with a GM. But yeah, that's all I got for you. You let me know in the comment section. Do you like the Jerod Mayo hire, or would you have gone with Mike Vrabel or somebody else? If you have somebody else, put that in the comments as well. And make sure you follow me on the socials right here on the screen, especially on TikTok, where I will put up a clip of this, have a poll question. Make sure you go over there and give your opinion in the poll. Really love to see it. I have been enjoying that interaction with you guys. But yeah, it's the Jerod Mayo era. I am hoping for the best for him. He seems like a guy that these players really want to play for, and I think that's like 3/4 of your battle as a head coach. Now it's the X's and O's, because going from coordinator to head coach is definitely a big leap, especially when you're following the GOAT, Bill Belichick. But I'm here for it. Hopefully you are as well. I'll definitely be back with more videos. Appreciate all of you. Like, subscribe, share, follow, all that good stuff. But yeah, be safe. God bless. Enjoy the playoff games this weekend. Remember, 2 on Saturday, 3 on Sunday, 1 on Monday. Yeah, I'm out.